Welcome to Real Ghost Hunters Volume 11. You've sent in your haunted locations, your terrifying encounters, the evidence that's kept you up at night. Today, we dive into the most sinister paranormal investigations ever caught on tape. These are the places that have become synonymous with fear, where the veil between our world and the next is worn thin. We're talking about the prisons, the asylums, the homes where evil took root and refused to let go. Prepare yourself, because tonight we confront the darkness head-on. We're kicking things off in Philadelphia, at Eastern State Penitentiary. This place is a monolith of despair, a massive stone fortress that once housed some of America's most notorious criminals. You can practically feel the weight of their suffering, the echo of their rage clinging to these walls. It seeps into you, chills you to the bone. Our team, we've investigated this place countless times, and every single time, it's the same feeling. Oppressive, heavy, like something's watching your every move. One of the most haunted spots in this entire prison is cell block 12. It's a long, dark corridor, and the cells there, they were designed for solitary confinement. No light, no sound, just pure isolation. Inmates claimed to see shadowy figures, felt unseen hands brush against them. Some were driven to madness. And then there's Al Capone's cell. They say his spirit still lingers here, haunted by the ghosts of his victims. We've caught EVPs in there, voices whispering from the shadows, and the temperature. It plummets without explanation. Eastern State Penitentiary, it's a place where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, where the spirits of the dead roam freely. Are you ready to face them? Our next stop takes us to Louisville, Kentucky, to the infamous Waverly Hills Sanatorium. This former tuberculosis hospital has become a hotbed for paranormal activity. A place where the echoes of suffering mingle with the whispers of the dead. Thousands died within these walls, their pain and fear lingering long after their last breath. The energy here is palpable, a suffocating blanket of sorrow and despair. One of the most chilling encounters we had at Waverly was in room 502. It's said that a pregnant nurse, infected with tuberculosis, took her own life in that room. We placed a REM pod in the center of the room, and within minutes it was going crazy. The energy spiked, and we heard a distinct disembodied voice, a woman's voice, filled with anguish. Then there's the infamous death tunnel. This underground passageway was used to transport the bodies of the deceased from the hospital, shielding the patients from the grim reality of their fate. The air in that tunnel is thick with dread, and we've captured some of the most compelling EVPs we've ever recorded down there. Voices calling out, disembodied footsteps, the feeling of being watched. It's enough to make your blood run cold. Chapter 3: The Enfield Poltergeist. We're crossing the Atlantic now, heading to Enfield, England, to investigate one of the most well-documented hauntings in history, the Enfield Poltergeist. This case, it terrified an entire nation, and the evidence, it speaks for itself. This is the story of a family terrorized by an unseen force, a malevolent entity that seemed to target the youngest daughter, Janet Hodgson. We're talking levitation, objects moving on their own, disembodied voices, even demonic possession. The police were called in, witnesses from all walks of life came forward, and the evidence was overwhelming. This wasn't just a few creaking floorboards or cold spots. This was a full-blown haunting, raw and terrifying. We visited the house on 284 Green Street where the haunting took place, and the energy there is still palpable. You can feel the fear, the tension, clinging to the walls like a shroud. Using our EVP recorders, we captured chilling voices, including one that sounded eerily similar to the voice that possessed Janet. This case remains one of the most compelling and disturbing investigations in paranormal history. Chapter 4: The Bell Witch Cave Investigation. Our journey into the heart of darkness takes us next to Adams, Tennessee, to the infamous Bell Witch Cave. This is a place steeped in legend, a place where a malevolent entity known as the Bell Witch is said to torment those who dare to enter. The legend goes that John Bell, the patriarch of the Bell family, was cursed by the witch. This wasn't just your run-of-the-mill haunting. This was personal, vicious, and it ended in John Bell's death. The cave itself is a natural cavern, dark, damp, and oppressive. You can feel the weight of the history here, the sense of dread that permeates the very air you breathe. Our team, we've been to this cave multiple times, and it's always a challenge. We've heard disembodied voices, experienced unexplained physical contact, even witnessed shadow figures lurking in the darkness. The Bell Witch Cave is a stark reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, that some forces are best left unchallenged. Chapter 5. The Amityville Horror House. Our final investigation takes us to 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York, the site of one of the most infamous and controversial hauntings in American history, the Amityville Horror. This is the house that spawned a best-selling book and a series of terrifying films. But the real story, the one that happened within these walls, is far more disturbing than any Hollywood fiction. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his own family inside this house. He claimed he was possessed by demonic forces, driven to commit the unspeakable. A year later, the Lutz family moved in, and what they experienced, it terrified them to their core. Cold spots, foul odors, green slime oozing from the walls, a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes, and the feeling of being constantly watched. We spent the night inside the Amityville house, and I can tell you firsthand, this place is different. The energy is heavy, oppressive, and there's a definite feeling of being watched. We used our EVP recorders to try and communicate with whatever entities might still reside here, and the results were chilling. Thanks for watching Real Ghost Hunters Volume 11. We've journeyed from the haunted halls of Eastern State Penitentiary to the infamous Amityville Horror House, confronting the unexplained and the terrifying every step of the way. But our investigation doesn't end here. The paranormal world is vast, filled with mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, keep those cameras rolling, those EVP recorders running, and keep searching for the truth that lies beyond the veil.